What is up, Yankee fans? I'm Ryan from Fireside Yankees, and I am back for another stream, the first stream of the new year. We really appreciate you guys stopping by and spending part of your evening with us. If you're new to the channel and this is your first live stream, welcome aboard. If you are a returning viewer, thank you for coming back. Thank you for showing up for this stream. There is not a lot to talk about from Hot Stove. There are some interesting nuggets, whether it's Roki Sasaki, the Yankees, whether they're going to go do more this winter or not. Something about Jazz and the potential where the Yankees could potentially fit him in their infield. Obviously, the Yankees have a hole in their infield, but there are a lot of questions about whether Jazz is going to play second or third base for this team. Jack Curry did talk about a lot of different things. There's a lot for us to talk about. But before we get into everything, let's get a little bit of a roll call going. Everyone who's currently here in the chat, and, you're a Yankee fan or whatever it may be, let's get a Let's Go Yankees going on right now. Again, thank you so much for stopping on by. We've got Blaze 455. Yep. Jack Curry agrees that the Yankees will prefer to play Jazz Chisholm at second, and it makes sense. I've talked about Jazz Chisholm is a good defensive third baseman. He has excellent arm talent, but if you look at the what makes sense for second base, range has always been, I think, more valuable for the Yankees. You value range a little more there, especially without the shift. And I think that he'll play very strong second base he has in his career. We've got the Let's Go Yankees chance going here. Got Jumbo Files. We've got JB, Steve Levin. I'm not sure. I'm so dumb. An Autistic Life. Dude, I was like, it says acoustic? I can't read. I have my glasses on. I took them off. Ariel Y, Z Mashi, Javier Vagu. I'm not going to be able to pronounce it. Gonna need help with that, Javier. Mirkwood Studios, NC _ Aaron Judge, AJ, Axel DR69, Austin Richmond. We've got everyone popping in, popping out. Thank you for showing some love here tonight. But with that being said, if you've got any questions, you can start shooting them over. I would love to get into this. Javier immediately following up with Stroman, Eat Some Money, Brubacher, and Warren or outfield prospect for Donovan. LFG. I don't think Brubacher has a lot of trade value coming off of Tommy John surgery and being a one-year guy. I know we talked about him as an interesting pitching option. I wrote an article about him, but I think that that's limited to he is just an interesting piece right now. He is not a proven pitcher yet. He doesn't have a great track record of being a proven pitcher either. He's like a 5 starter. That's kind of what he is. Maybe there's upside for more. I think there's upside for more. But I don't know if the Cardinals would value him at that point. But I do think Warren is someone who could be of value to the St. Louis Cardinals, depending on how Chaim Bloom values someone like Will Warren. He is a data darling. He has 6 years of major league control left. The Cardinals could use more pitching. That's an attractive option for sure. As for the outfield prospect, depends on who it is. I would trade Spencer Jones for Brendan Donovan. I don't know if that's a hot take. I think Brendan Donovan's really good. Marcus Stroman, I'm not sure you can offload Stroman and get Donovan in the same deal unless you're eating a ton of money from someone else. And I don't think Arenado's realistic, nor do I think he's the kind of guy. I think it's already been shot down that the Cardinals would deal away Arenado and take in Stroman's contract. So I'm not sure that the players in this deal make all the sense in the world. I do like Brendan Donovan a lot for the Yankees, and Javier, of course, as always, appreciate your comment. And to clarify, it's Vagia. Gotcha. Vagia. Got it. Appreciate you again for the question. Ryan, what's up, Ryan? Hope all is well. Who do you think will be the starting third baseman if Jazz moves to third base? So I think there are a wide range of options. I wrote this morning about Willie Castro. He's someone who the Twins seem to be willing to trade, or at least all indications, all reports have indicated that, again, they're willing to trade the guy. And if, reports say they're going to trade the guy, and logistically speaking, it makes sense for them to trade a player with 1 year left on his deal when they have an infield logjam, I just assume the player's available. I'd also like to mention in regards to the third base position, I don't think it's cut and dry that the Yankees are putting Jazz at second. I think that if something came up, they would move him to third if needed. But it does seem like second base is where he'll be. If that's where he's going to be again, I think it makes sense. And then third base, it's interesting because you can open yourself up to some less athletic players because third bases require elite level range. I've talked about Ha-Seong Kim. Love Ha-Seong Kim. I don't think Ha-Seong Kim is going to be a Yankee. I don't think he makes too much sense for the Yankees. He's not necessarily what I would consider a good offensive player. He is a great defender, though. Makes sense for a team who maybe needs more defense than offense. kind of has some like 2024, maybe Andres Jimenez to him, but I'm not sure how good of a defender he is. Defense is not sticky year to year. And so, that's kind of where, that's kind of where, I'm at. I don't really know what I'm going to like. I don't know what to think of the Yankee infield until players start coming off the board in the infield market, which no one really has yet. So there's that. With that being said, let's see what we got here. Finally made it into the stream. Appreciate you, Austin. You're the man. Would you do Ben Rice and Hamilton for Luis Arraez? I personally wouldn't. I think that's a lot for 1 year of Luis Arraez, who, again, and this is kind of where Luis Arraez is a difficult player to talk about. Not because Luis Arraez isn't good. I disagree with people saying that Luis Arraez is a bad baseball player. But I do think that there is a lot of, I don't think people are honest about what Luis Arraez is. He's Gleyber Torres in terms of like player value. You're going to get maybe a 3-WAR year. If he doesn't have great offense, he'll be about a 1-WAR player. Even if he's a great hitter, this is a 2.7 WAR, the 130 WRC plus. It's basically DH value. You have to be honest about what Luis Arraez is. And he's a bad base runner who is an even worse defensive player. He's not the worst base runner in the world. Like, this isn't, my God, bad base running. This is just not great base running. It's below average base running. I think if the Yankees are going to have somebody play second or third, I don't really see the fit for him at second base. I see maybe the fit at third, maybe, but I'm not really sure. So I don't really think Luis Arraez has a defensive fit here. I do think he is a good hitter. I think he's a good hitter. I think on the right team, he could be a good bat, a good get for the right kind of team. The problem is that he doesn't really have a position. And I'm going to just stand firm on that. Like, he doesn't really have a position here on the New York Yankees. I'm not 100% sure the Yankees even have interest in him. I don't know what the Yankees level, like, I think it would take a very specific outcome, which is that every single infielder that we think is available isn't available or gets grossly overpaid. I think that's the circumstances it would take. And that just seems unlikely, right? Like, I can't tell you the last time. Can't tell you that this market's going to a point where teams are going to start throwing stupid money around at role players or start, trading top 10 prospects for, Willie Castro. You know what I mean? So there's that. Let's go, Yanks. Appreciate you for stopping by, man. The Yankees will not get Pete Alonso. They will not. Do you think the Yankees will make a move before Roki Sasaki makes his decision? Sasaki has, I think he's going to make his decision. I think it was reported between the 15th and the 23rd. Won't be on the 15th itself, but I will say yes, and it'll be a reliever. I think they'll sign Tim Hill. Yeah. I said that's going to be their next move probably, so I'm going to stick on that one. Profit. Sup, Ryan? Hope you're doing well. Appreciate you. Hope you're doing well as well. Probably a long shot, but do you think the Mariners could be open to trading JP Crawford? That is a very interesting question. Now, first and foremost, let's take a look at the Mariners depth chart here, and we're going to go keep the screen shared. At second base, they have Ryan Bliss. At third base, they have Dylan Moore. At shortstop, they have JP Crawford. Now, JP Crawford does make money, and JP Crawford has not particularly been a consistent player. Like this past season, very underwhelming offensive numbers, had a stint on the IL. For 3 straight years as a productive player offensively, I think that there are a couple of things that would tell me that the Mariners either A, won't move JP Crawford, or B, it wouldn't make sense for them to do so. Number one is the aforementioned infield depth. Dylan Moore isn't very good. Ryan Bliss isn't very proven, nor is he particularly great. JP Crawford's probably the best player, including first base, in their infield. Oh, excuse me. If Luke Riley plays first base, I think he's better than JP Crawford. I think he's a very good hitter. But JP Crawford strikes me as the kind of guy where it just doesn't make sense to trade him unless you're going to get a better replacement. And if you're the Mariners and you're trying to fill out your roster, doesn't it feel a little bit weird to trade someone who's coming off of a down year? I mean, he had a 248 BABIP this past season. A 248 BABIP is abnormally low, even for JP Crawford. I mean, in his career, he has a 292 career BABIP. He's had years where his BABIP's been down, but never this low. I would assume his BABIP is going to be higher than 248. Now, if he was available for the Yankees, I would personally love it because I think you're buying low on a player who will clearly be better in 2025 than he was in 2024, who can hit for enough power, like he's got decent enough power. He's worked that drive line. The underlying data set says he should have been better than he actually was. I think that personally, and I'm going to pull up his his savant page here because they have some data on expected home runs. There isn't much of a home run change here. Do I think he could hit more home runs in Yankee Stadium? Maybe with an approach change for sure. But personally think that it doesn't make sense for the Mariners to do this. Therefore, I don't think it's going to happen. But granted, we've seen teams do stupid things. And for that reason, I guess nothing's off the table. We've seen the Mariners do desperate things to clear payroll. Maybe, and just maybe, they're going to be stupid enough to do something this desperate. But again, I just doubt it given their needs for offense. And Crawford's making $10 million. He's not towards the luxury tax, not a particularly wealthy investment or heavy investment to make for a player who's going to enter his age 30 season. What do we think about Murakami for first base next year? Pinstripes edits. I personally view Munetaka Murakami as a question mark. He's a massive question mark. He has bottom of the barrel contact rates. He is in the first, I think, 0th percentile in zone contact rates in the MPB. That is not going to get better facing the major league pitching. It's not like you are coming over from the MPB and facing like lower velo or worse pitch movement. You're facing guys who throw harder, who have, crazy good back spinning fastballs. I think Murakami is going to be a project. I don't think he's going to be the kind of player who, people envisioned he could have been when he first burst onto the scene. I thought he was going to be a superstar at the major league level one day. He very much still could be, but I just doubt that Murakami at this point in time is going to be able to adjust and make the fixes needed to be that superstar caliber player. Do I think the Yankees should inquire on any player? Absolutely. Do I think Murakami is going to cut it in the big leagues? Not exactly. And considering that he's a first baseman, you've got to be a pretty dominant hitter to be worth a lot of money. I would love Brendan Donovan on the New York Yankees. I'm assuming that's what you meant. I agree, Keith. Would think he'd be great. There was a proposed trade that would send Bo Bichette to the Yankees and Blue Jays to get Anthony Volpe, Oswaldo Cabrera, and a prospect. I don't want this to happen, but what do you think, Ryan? Yeah, I saw it was a mock trade. So obviously nothing substantiated with a rumor or anything. But personally, I think that the Yankees would be losing this deal. Bo Bichette is a very good player, I still think. I think of the world of him, but you open a hole at shortstop. You weaken your bench when you have a weak infield. You have to go out and acquire a shortstop. Maybe that's Ha-Seong Kim, but that player won't be available to play the first month of the season. You'd have to play Oswald Peraza and like DJ LeMahieu, and you'd have no direct backup at shortstop for Peraza. I think it's something where the Blue Jays would say no, depending on, not that the Blue Jays say no, excuse me, the Yankees would say no. The Blue Jays, I think, would do this. They get, 4 years of Anthony Volpe. I know he's not a great player, but he's a pretty good one. And you get a prospect, and you get Cabrera too, you get some depth. It's all for 1 year of Bo Bichette. But I don't know. And there's also that chance for the Yankees where, Bo Bichette, his struggles from last year are permanent, and he's not really that good anymore. I think that this is too much of a gamble for the Yankees to take. I think that the Blue Jays are going to wait to sell him at the deadline if they're bad. I don't personally see a world where the Blue Jays trade him unless they get a huge haul. And I don't see a world where the Yankees are the ones who the Blue Jays accept a massive haul for Bo Bichette. With that being said, Matt Vierling to third base, Volpe shortstop, Jazz second base, Goldschmidt first base. I would not complain at all that infield. I agree. I think Matt Vierling is a pretty good player. Matt Vierling has really good, underlying data. He improved his chase rate. He proved that he can hit for some pop if needed. Personally, I think that, Matt Vierling is an above average player. The only concern I have is with his infield defense. I'm not sure if it's anything more than mediocre or uninspiring. And then the final thing I'd like to say is that, Vierling may not be available. If you're looking at where the Tigers have needs, the Tigers have a ton of needs, and a lot of them are offense, right? The Yankees need offense. So, I just think that they need to go out and get, I think the Tigers need to go get better offensively. There's no reason, for, how do I put this? There's no reason for anyone to believe that the Tigers are going to weaken their offense, unless, of course, it's to just clear out depth that they can't really have. But, I think depth is also important, right? You want to have as much depth as possible. You don't want to just trade bats because, they don't fit on my 26-man roster on opening day, even though they have minor league options. So, yeah, I don't know. I think that the Tigers with Vierling, I think they're going to keep him. I would love him on the Yankees. I would love him on the Yankees. Are there any teams that have major coming up prospects that would be willing to free up an infield spot to trade proven talent. So, funnily enough, probably the player who fits that mold really well is Jace Jung. If the Tigers were to sign Alex Bregman, again, I'm not particularly sure that the Tigers are going to trade infield depth because, again, like probably want to have as much of it as possible. But, Jace Jung is someone who's entering kind of his mid-20s. I believe he's 24 years old. I can pull this up right now. He's not like old or whatever. I'm not trying to claim he's like an old guy, but he's entering his age 25 season. He'll turn 25, or excuse me, age 24 season. He actually has the same birthday as me, October 4th. He had a right wrist surgery. This is according to Evan Petzold of the Detroit Free Press here on Fangraphs. That's a little concerning, but in a small sample size, he hit decently well, 102 WRC plus. Underlyings weren't great. Guy wasn't crushing the ball. But again, 94 play appearances, 34 games, certainly room for improvement here. Not playing in a ballpark that particularly plays well for left-handed power hitters. I do have a couple of concerns. Number one, not a great athlete, not the kind of guy who's going to play excellent defense at third base. That's a concern, right? Is the guy who came up as a second baseman and a third baseman. In a small sample size playing third, he was not very good. I question whether that's, and you look at here, he made 16 errors. I know errors aren't a perfect defensive metric, but 16 errors in 65 games is concerning. Again, granted, it's minor league data, can always improve in that regard. The batted ball day, like the hard hit rates aren't excellent. This is someone who strikes me more as going to be patient, going to work walks, that kind of guy. Can hit for some power. Maybe he plays at Yankee Stadium and sees it because he does pull the ball a lot. He sees the numbers come up. 49.4% pull rate, 41.4% fly ball rate, 37.5% ground ball rate. Not high swinging strike rates, 10.1% swinging strike rate. That's good. But again, just there are some valid concerns to be had about whether Jace Jung is a good major league hitter or a good enough major league hitter to buoy the fact that he may not be a great defensive third baseman or even a good one. That they has Hot Stone tonight. Anything to say that stand out? First and foremost, Paranormal in the Funhouse. Appreciate you stopping by, my man. I know that you're a frequent guy, a frequent viewer here, so appreciate you again. But on Hot Stove, they talked about Roki Sasaki. They talked a little bit about Sasaki being someone that the Yankees had a productive meeting with. But Curry said that he heard from baseball people that there may be a preference for the West Coast and that the Dodgers and the Padres are perceived favorites. Granted, baseball people, industry chatter, that kind of stuff, it's not always, what the player actually thinks. That's opinion based. But I do believe that he'll end up with one of the Dodgers or the Padres. I think it will be the Dodgers. Finally, I also believe that in regards to the Yankees' pursuit of Sasaki, money's not going to be a situation where the Yankees need to be, concerned with that. The Yankees have a large signing bonus pool they can work out of for international free agents, but I'm not sure that'll play a massive role in this. If Sasaki was going after money, he would have waited a couple of years. So there's that. Furthermore, Jack Curry added that the Yankees, he preached patience, that the market still has to develop. Talked about that the Yankees, wasn't really ruling out additions. Talked about left-handed relief help, maybe an infielder, that kind of stuff. I thought that Hot Stove was very much like, all right, market's really not moving. Yankees would like to see if they could add an infielder if they can. We'll see where things go. We'll see where it goes. I think that, we have to figure out where the market's going to go. No infield has really flown off the board yet. And I think when Bregman signs, we may see guys kind of fall into place. I think the final thing also was that Jazz to second base. Like that is what Jack Curry believes is going to happen. We'll see. Sometimes you acquire a player who just forces you to move guys around. I personally wouldn't like it, but what would your opinion be on the Yankees getting Alec Bohm from the Phillies? I know they were aggressively shopping him earlier this offseason. So let's talk about Alec Bohm for a second here. Alec Bohm would make the Yankees better. That's kind of the baseline for whenever you're talking about like a free agent addition, like will they or won't they make you better? Bohm makes the Yankees better. He had a 115 WRC plus this past season, a 3.5 WAR. That's 2 thumbs up for me if I got that production out of Bohm. His defense at third base improved dramatically. Mostly the improvements came with his range. His range got a lot better. Wasn't making so many boneheaded errors at third. I know he didn't make as many errors last year as this year, but I mean boneheaded is in like the kind of stuff you would really ding a defender for. Sometimes you get slapped on an error because you attempted a really tough play and, the scores aren't being particularly generous, but 4 outs above average, +3 fielding run value. Those are career best for him by a pretty significant margin. And that's with him playing, 1,000 innings at third. That's very encouraging. For the bat, 115 WRC plus. Strikeout rate was a career low, 14.2%. The barrel rate, 6.5%. Not crazy good, but still solid. Still remain very aggressive in zone. The kind of guy who's going to make a ton of contact, going to hit for a decently high average, is going to provide decent pop, and could potentially be something of a solution at the leadoff spot. I personally think that Bohm would be a really nice get for this offense. He's right-handed. He helps against left-handed pitching, which the Yankees struggled with last year. And he only has 2 years of control left. So you put him, he's 28 years old, with Jazz, who's another young guy. It's the kind of thing that would make you go, yep, the Yankees have gotten better. Granted, there are concerns about Bohm's off-field stuff. There is concern that, the makeup isn't particularly excellent. But again, we're talking about making a meaningful upgrade. I think Bohm is a meaningful upgrade for the Yankees. And again, it's meaningful compared to what they have internally. It's not like a superstar get. I don't think Bohm's winning an MVP with the Yankees, nor do I even think he's making an all-star team with the Yankees. My only concern really is that the bat may not play very well here because left field in Philly is a lot shorter than right field, but maybe the Yankees are able to push him to be more of an opposite field kind of guy. We'll see. I don't know. I think he would make the Yankees better. That's kind of my synopsis. That's my kind of conclusion here. But I'm not particularly sure the Yankees are going to get him, considering the Phillies have asked for a lot for him from other teams. I'm not sure if they're just like throwing him or giving him away the way that we thought he may have been just kind of like tossed away earlier this winter. Any news on Profar? Nothing about Profar. I doubt the Yankees. I don't doubt. I seriously do not believe the Yankees will not get Profar. I seriously do not believe the Yankees will get Profar. He is an outfielder. That is what he is. He is not going to play second base. He's not going to play third base. If he was you could make the dark horse first base argument, but the Yankees just signed Paul Goldschmidt. So are you going to go get him to play him at first and Goldschmidt at, that's weird. No, they're going to go get a middle infielder if they're going to make another investment of the position player side of the ball. So Keith, Profar doesn't make sense because he's not an infielder, and he has been an infielder in the past, but it's clear that those days are behind him at this point in time. Zack Gelof's numbers are as bad as they look. Such a promising start to his career. Yeah, Gelof, I think, is better than what last year suggested, but you never know. I always kind of wonder if like the widths were way up. Maybe it's a mechanical thing. Maybe he just got the yips. I don't really know. I also don't think the A's are going to trade the guy. Like, I don't think the A's are going to be like, yep, let's get rid of him. Let's go get him out of here. Screw him. Like, I think you're better off holding on to him, especially entering his age 25 season. Latest on Ha-Seong Kim, I believe, is 30 days are up. Yeah, so he's got, I think, until like today or tomorrow to sign. I don't think the Yankees are going to get him. I personally believe that that it'll be like the, Mariners or the Angels. I don't believe Ha-Seong Kim's a particularly elite ball player or like someone who's going to have a ton of upside offensively. His ground ball rates are too high. His bat to ball skills are really good for sure. But again, like let's take a look here at Ha-Seong Kim. Let's see if this okay. Thank you, Fangraphs. Thank you. There we go. Oh, okay. We're just gonna do that again. Thank you, Fangraphs. Appreciate you. I'm going to try to do that again. That was really weird. I don't like that. Oh my gosh. Okay. We're going to try this again. I'm like not giving up on this. I'm not giving up on this. We are going to pull up his data one way or another. His data is on my screen. There we go. Damn it. Nope. It logged. One way or another, his numbers will be on my screen. One way or another, his numbers will be on your screen as well. All right. So Ha-Seong Kim, let's look at the offensive numbers for qualified hitters here. I want qualified hitters. Let's see. There were 70 of them. Ha-Seong Kim is 24th, 118 WRC plus. ISO is really low. It's 132. That's really low. I just don't really like, he's not much of he doesn't have a lot of pop. The strikeout rates are really cool, but even then it's not like outlier low. Like, let's take a look at Jung-Hoo Lee. Let's look at Jung-Hoo Lee with Ha-Seong Kim and compare it to Ha-Seong Kim. Jung-Hoo Lee, where is he? Where are we, Jung-Hoo Lee? Oh, well, he was in a qualified hitter last year. He only had, let's just 300 plate appearances. Boom. Jung Lee had a 5.9% strikeout rate compared to like 10%. So it's about half the strikeout rate. He had a 139 WRC plus in a down year, 136 ISO. Let's compare these 2023, 2024 seasons. Hope none of them are split. Right. Okay. Jung Lee was the best hitter in the KBO from 2022 to 2023. Didn't play in 2024. Obviously, he was stateside. But like Jung Lee was clearly one of the best players in the world or in the KBO. By the time he was, posted, he was the best hitter in the KBO when he was posted. So, we're talking about a player who was elite, dominant, and even he was a question mark offensively. You look at those strikeout to walk rates, right? He had by far the best strikeout to walk rate, 2.09. Ha-Seong Kim, you have to really scroll down this list to find him. I don't actually know where he is. Let me see. I got to sort through K percentage. I can find him maybe. Ha-Seong Kim. Where are we? Ha-Seong Kim. Is he not here? Am I crazy or am I just not seeing Ha-Seong Kim? If I look for batting average guys, he'll pop up. There we go. So it's 12.6% strikeout rate over those 2 years. It's like good, but it's not dominantly good. It's like, it's solid. I was hyping up Ha-Seong Kim. Let me explain. Ha-Seong Kim is already a major leaguer and has been a good player at the major league level for 3 years now. Like really good. Ha-Seong, I'm talking about the guy currently in the, so to clarify, Ha-Seong Kim, Hye-Song Kim, is currently in the KBO. He has not made his major league debut. He's currently coming over from the Korean baseball organization to Major League Baseball. Ha-Seong Kim, H-A-Song Kim, is the current major leaguer who has played with San Diego Padres throughout his major league career. We're talking about Ha-Seong Kim, Hye currently in the KBO, has not made his major league debut, to clarify. Getting back to talking about Ha-Seong Kim, Hye look at his strikeout rates. They're not overly like dominant. No, I don't think he was trying to clown him. I think he was asking me why. Like, there's legit. It is very hard. I don't know if I enunciate very well. Number one and number two, Ha-Seong. Like it's real. Like it's not like these are like dissimilar names. These are extremely similar pronunciations. So I completely get the confusion. It's like, oh my gosh, Ha-Seong Kim's a free agent. Ha-Seong Kim's a free agent. No. Ha-Seong Kim's the KBO guy. Ha-Seong Kim's the MLB guy. Both of them are free agents. We're talking about Ha-Seong Kim. All right. Focusing on Ha-Seong Kim. Ha-Seong Kim has good, but again, not dominant strikeout rates. 12.6% over the last 3 years is among hitters. Now, let's maybe close the sample size a little bit to make it maybe 600 plate appearances. Let's have 600 plate appearances because maybe there's some guys here that are like smaller sample size guys, right? You start sorting a couple of these guys out. He's got the 22nd lowest strikeout rate among 105 hitters. That's good, but it's not dominant. The hit tool is not elite, immaculate. And there are a lot of ground balls here. So a lot of ground balls, not a dominant, keyword is dominant contact guy. So I wouldn't grade it as an 80 grade guy. I wouldn't grade it as a even 70 grade. I'd say it's like a 55 to 60. And then the game power is kind of atrocious. The game power is really, really, really bad. That's one. That's two. Let's see. Where is he going to end up in terms of game power here? Ha-Seong Kim. We're looking for Ha-Seong Kim. We're going to use the good old HYE. Is there any Ha-Seong Kim here? No, there's not. So we got to go another one over. Ha-Seong Kim. Is there a Ha-Seong? There we go. Ha-Seong Kim is 64th in isolated power. So he's below average game power for a Korean baseball organization hitter. That is not encouraging. Granted, he does have a decent WRC plus of 125. That's 19th. But again, we're not talking about someone who is a particularly dominant hitter. He's a good base runner, though. Look at his weighted stolen base. He's one of the best base runners in Korea. But again, not dominant. We want dominant. That's what you're targeting. That's the trait you're targeting in international players, especially when they're coming over from the KBO, a league that is a step behind the NPB, which is Japan's main major leagues, the Nippon Baseball League. it's really hard for me to wrap my arms around signing Ha-Seong Kim to be the main guy at second base. Maybe right field does him wonders. Maybe the Yankees identify something in his swing mechanics that they can improve. Maybe the raw power is better than the game power, and teams are going to be able to unlock that. But it's very doubtful, in my opinion, that he is as good as Ha-Seong Kim when he came over from the KBO, because he isn't. He's not as good as Jung-Hoo Lee when he came over to from the KBO. And those guys had adjustment periods. I know Jung-Hoo Lee got hurt. We'll see how he plays. Can't really comment on his play. But Ha-Seong Kim, people forget how good Ha-Seong Kim was in the KBO. This was one of the best players in Korea, one of the best international players. The 2 years before he hit free agency, 142 WRC plus, 141 WRC plus, 218 isolated power, 183 isolated power. This guy was a legit home run bat when he came over from the KBO to the United States. And even then, he has a 101 WRC plus in his major league career. So Ha-Seong Kim, it takes one of the best hitters in Korea to be an above average major league hitter. And Ha-Seong Kim is a premium defensive player as well and a very good base runner. I just doubt that Ha-Seong Kim is impactful the way that people hope that he could be for the Yankees. I think he's better suited for a team that needs defense and can sacrifice a little bit of offense. And yes, I believe Ha-Seong Kim will get a major league deal. Granted, let's talk about profit and what he argues here. And that's regarding that, the two biggest prospects in the organization for the, for the Mariners is they're both shortstops, and I know that Cole Young's a good prospect, but let's take a look at Cole Young, right? And I know that Cole Young isn't a Yankee prospect. He may never play for the New York Yankees. I don't know what his odds are of ever being a Yankee. But would it make sense for the Mariners to give him that major league debut? Raw power, game power wasn't great. I believe, keyword is believe. I believe he's a good player and that he will be a good player in his major league future. But don't you think the Mariners would rather have him come up, put him at shortstop, move JP Crawford to second base? Again, when we're talking about, do I think JP Crawford's a good player and a good hitter? My answer is yeah. I actually think he could be a 100, 105, 110 WRC plus hitter in 2025. And for those reasons, I wouldn't trade him if I'm the Mariners, even if I'm freeing up $10 million of salary. Because what am I going to do with that $10 million of salary? They're not going to get Ha-Seong Kim with that money. They're not going to get, they may barely be able to sign Ha-Seong Kim with that money. There's not a lot that you can do with $10 million offensively, unless you're importing someone on the trade market, which I guess the Mariners do have the capital to do. But who's even available? Are you going to bring in Brendan Donovan only if you free up $10 million? I feel like that's weird. Are you going to only bring in Luis Robert Jr. if you can free up $10 million? Again, that feels weird. Why? Why is that the thought process? So profit, I think it's creative. I think JP Crawford, if available, would be an awesome get for the Yankees. But again, I'm going to subscribe to the theory that the Mariners aren't stupid enough to part ways with offense to improve their roster with money that they really can't use to it's really weird. It's very, 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 very weird. I'm not 100% sure what's going to go on here. I'm not 100% sure what, I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure why that would happen. So read in Newsweek that Stroman to Toronto could be a reality. Is Newsweek? I've never heard of them. I've heard of Newsday, not Newsweek. So yeah. What's up, Joey? Not Gallo. Hope you're doing well. What do we got here? We got a couple questions I did kind of miss out on. Ryan, what does the phrase "ball knowing is education" mean to you? I think actually genuinely the way you perceive baseball, I think the way you perceive baseball is very important to how you perceive life. If you apply logic-based analysis to baseball, you can apply it to all areas of your life, and you probably should apply it to all areas of your life. So there's that. I'm not particularly sure where the Yankees are going to, I don't know where, being a smart Yankee fan slots into, or a smart baseball fan slots into that. But I do genuinely believe, being a smart baseball fan should result in you being, a smart baseball person or a smart person in life. So there's that. I don't know if that's, too philosophical, but yeah. I think we're getting a DJ and Cabrera / Peraza platoon. I don't know what we're getting. I think that the market has to move before I feel any way about the Yankees right now. So, yeah, I don't know. I personally feel that I personally feel that the Yankees are going to make an addition there. But I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll be fine being wrong though. So I just think that the Yankees are in a situation where, it does make sense. It makes sense for them to get an infielder. It makes sense for them to get an infielder. There are options available on the trade or free agent market that don't have to be sexy, but can still be good. So yeah, that's where I'm at. We should bring in Jake Cronenworth. The Padres are walking a fine line financially and want um a it needs to clear a long-term contract. So here are a couple of things that I'm not 100% sure on. One of those things that I'm not 100% sure on in regards to the Padres is that Jake Cronenworth doesn't he doesn't I don't view Jake Cronenworth as the kind of player that the Yankees should tie 6 years to. I like Jake Cronenworth. I believe he is a good player. I believe he's a player who would clearly make the Yankees better. But I also think it's important to note that, Jake Cronenworth has some, long-term question marks. Number one, you have the fact that Jake Cronenworth is entering his 30s. Number two, the fact that he's not what I would consider to be a particularly he's not like a great defender. He's a slower guy now. I'm not sure how the bat ages. There are concerns. There are legitimate concerns that one could have in regards to Jake Cronenworth's long-term outlook. Now, if the Yankees could have the Padres eat some money here, right? If the Padres gave the Yankees Jake Cronenworth for $7 million a year, kind of hard for me to feel like that's something the Yankees should completely turn down, but we'll see. It'll be really interesting to see kind of where the trade market goes. I'm not completely against this idea. I just think there's a specific set of circumstances where I'd be willing to do this. One of those may have to include dumping Marcus Stroman. Who do you think will be the coach of the Yankees after Aaron Boone's new contract? I'm thinking about that. I don't know. I don't think that we're seeing the end of the Aaron Boone era unless something unprecedented happens in the regular season. And look, I don't mean to be like that guy and tell you guys that you're all stupid or whatever, but I do think Aaron Boone's mostly overhated. I disagree with some of the things he does, but he's not the reason why you haven't won the World Series. It's I think it's performance based. I think the Yankees have had some teams that aren't good enough, and I think that maybe this year they'll have a team that's good enough. We'll see. I feel like nothing. My odds on. I've always said this. I'm just kind of pessimistic on the Yankees getting Roki Sasaki. There are weird ways to kind of logic pill yourself into thinking that it may make sense, but I just think he's going to be a Dodger. So yeah, my odds haven't changed at any point during this winter. I think maybe it changed when they got the meeting from 5% to 6%, maybe 7%. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I could be wrong. Hope I'm wrong. Hope Sasaki is a Yankee for the rest of his life. I hope he's a Yankee for his entire career. He's awesome. How available is Willie Castro? Willie Castro pilled myself today. Would have had 19 home runs in Yankee Stadium compared to 12 he actually had. Switch hitter and good defense. How available is he? Now I'm going to use the words directly from Dan Hayes of The Athletic regarding Willie Castro's availability. He is a likely target to be moved. I think that's pretty honest and pretty open and pretty cut and clear that this is a player who's available on the free agent market. We'll see if it leads to anything. We'll see if the Yankees end up getting him. We'll see if he ends up even getting moved. Maybe it changes things, but I think that he is someone the Yankees should target. I think he's someone of value. I think he's a good player. I think he'd get even better at Yankee Stadium. I think there are question marks about his game. Again, this is someone who's, was basically awful for his entire career until he came over to the Minnesota Twins. Of course, it's a concern. But at the end of the day, I do think that, the Yankees, they should show interest. They should at the very least show interest. That's what they should do. But again, we'll see where things go from here and where the Yankees decide to take this trade route. You can't be a Yankee fan suggesting Volpe and Cabrera for Bichette. I'm not, because I wouldn't make that deal. I wouldn't trade Anthony Volpe for 1 year of Bo Bichette. So yeah. Do you see Volpe moving to second base in his future? Maybe in 10 years, but I think he'll be a shortstop. So yeah. Brendan Donovan, Brandon Rogers platoon at second base would be good. I don't think they have to platoon. Just play Brendan Donovan. I personally don't see a reason to believe that like Brendan Rodgers is like a good player. I really don't think he's very good. I think a team that sucks should take a chance on him, but not the Yankees. So, yeah. Bleacher Report has the Yanks farm ranked at 29th. I don't care what Bleacher Report thinks. They think Shador Sanders is going to be a top 25 athlete over the next 25 years. They put, like, I really don't care what they think about sports, if I'm being honest with you. I'm joking. I love Bleacher Report. I think that, look, I disagree with Bleacher Report. That's fine. I think that it's easy to kind of dismiss an entire media company from like one writer's take. They have fun stuff. I really like their social media team. That's what I really like their social media team. I think that Bleacher Report, like, again, it's hard also to do prospect analysis. I'm sure if you asked me to rank 30 farm systems, I'd be like, yeah, I think this farm system is not very good. And then I'd be like screamed at by 3 million people in a fan base. You know what I mean? So I disagree with this. I disagree with like some of their takes, but at the end of the day, I don't think they're trying to sell themselves as like the premier prospect page. I think they sell themselves as like they're just sports. They just sell sports. That's what they do. And again, I think one thing that's important to note with Bleacher Report here too is that what is the difference between 29th for them and 21st? Because if you don't think the gap between 29th and 21st is massive, then like, yeah, it's not really that big of a deal to me, because I would say the Yankees, like if you put the Yankees at like the 21st best farm system in baseball, I'd be like, yeah, all right. Like, that's on the low end for me, but whatever. I don't know. I think a lot of this is just to say, I'm trying to say that I don't agree with them without saying that I'm 100% right. I'm always right. I'm never wrong. And that I don't want to be the kind of guy where I'm like, oh, I hate this media company because they had an opinion I disagree with. Like, I think that's also a little much. Like, even if you may feel that way, I don't know. This is a really long tangent about how, like, I just don't love grouping an entire media company as like, I hate these people, whatever. It's kind of unprofessional, number one. And number two, like, more importantly, right? Like, oh no, they had a sports take I disagree with. So, right? You know what I mean? I'm sure I have some takes that you guys probably fucking hate. So, I hope you don't hate ESM for it or hate Fireside Yankees for it. I don't know. I'd probably take more, but can't be too much. Look, I mean, I don't know. Wait, is this about for Edwards? No, I would not do this. Definitely would not do this. No. Xavier Edwards is maybe not a good major league player. Like, there's a chance he's not a good major league player. Brian will be crashing out if the Giants trade up for Shador Sanders. I would probably crash out. I don't think he's like, I think he's look, to clarify, he's fun. I think he's a fun guy. I think he's like, it'd be fun if he was good in the Bronx. But what if he's not, right? What if he's not? Like, that's kind of the thing here. What if he's not, That's where I'm at. I don't think, like, it'd be fun if he's good. I'd love to, I'd love for him to, like, be really good here. I'd love for him to, like, have an awesome career at the Giants. But if he doesn't, it's going to cost people their jobs. And, like, you're going to lose a lot of, you're going to burn a draft pick getting someone who isn't particularly very good. And I don't think his traits are particularly excellent as well. So the one thing I'd like to say in regards to the Giants' position as for the quarterback situation, if they pick him at 4, I won't be thrilled. Like, I won't be like, yep, the franchise is saved. But I also would be like, they didn't trade up for him. Fine, whatever. And then the final thing I'd like to say about the Giants is that they are extremely poorly ran. So, yeah. But we'll say this. You're always a quarterback away, right? You're always kind of, if you hit on the quarterback, you probably end up being pretty fine as a product overall. So we'll see. Which one do you think the Yankees might get? Correa, Arraez, Profar on, I don't know if it's Angel or on Hell. Gonna ask for your input on the pronunciation there. I believe that the Yankees will end up with none of these guys. Profar, not a chance. Arraez, doubt. Correa has to get, like, I think his chance of getting moved are less than 50%. That's just a hunch. It's not like a source thing. That's just me guessing. Would love him on the Yankees, but clearly where they're operating this winter would indicate that they're not, like, dying to take on $33 million of salary. Now, maybe if they move Stroman, things get interesting, but I think it depends on, like, okay. The odds that Correa gets moved. Probably not above 50%, probably below 50%. So factor that in. That's step one. Step two, odds that he ends up on the Yankees, it's not 100% if he gets traded, right? So like, if he's not 100%, right? If he's not 100% going to get traded to the Yankees, you have to also cut into those odds too. So it's just like, if you wanted to play the odds game, like the percentage chance, the odds are pretty good that they're not going to get any of these guys. So, yeah. I want one lefty arm or more, but like at least one. I don't think he has to get more than one. Tim Hill will be fine. Tim Hill will be great. So, yeah, just trade for Correa. I would love Correa. Yes, I would love Correa. I would say I'm not sure he's a good major leaguer. The reason, and that doesn't mean he's not a major leaguer. A average major league player should be in the major leagues. Like if you're an average major league player, you should be in the major leagues. That's just a fact, in my opinion. You should be in the major leagues if you're an average player. But couple of concerns here. Edwards hits for no power at all. When you're BABIP reliant, you're reliant on things that you can't always control. I know he has really good bat to ball skills. He's a really good base runner, but this could be more like this is Nicky Lopez than like Luis Arraez. Like Luis Arraez has an 80 grade hit tool. That's basically it. Right? Like Edwards does not have an 80 grade hit tool. And he doesn't have any plus tools in the power department. Play discipline's pretty good. Base running's really good. Defensively at shortstop, he's pretty bad. Not sure how that translates to second base, but he's a good defensive second baseman. Could he be a good player? I just want to see a little bit more. Projections do kind of like Edwards, and I say like people think when I say like projections like a player that means that they think that player is gonna like win the an MVP or something like that. It just means that they think that player is gonna be a productive player, in that given season. They project him for a 105 WRC plus, 354 OBP, 14.2% strikeout rate. Those are really good. That's really good. I would love that, right? Like I think that's objectively a good get for the Yankees if they get that kind of player. But if you're the Marlins, he's only got 1 year of service time control. So he's got 5 years left, 2 of them being before arbitration. He's cheap. He's a player who I think that you would argue is good. If you think that he's good enough to net like 5 different players, why should the Marlins trade him? So, it's not that I don't think Xavier Edwards is a capable major league player. I just think he's solid and nothing more. I don't think he's the 128 WRC plus player we saw last year. Don't think he's a bum, but that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know. It's a very long-winded way of me saying I think that he's going to be worse next year than he was this year. I think that the Yankees have to trade a significant haul of prospects to get him. I don't think they should, and I don't think the Marlins should just like throw him out of town. Just throw him out of town. He's cheap and he may be good, so probably should keep him around. But they should move him to second base. He should not play shortstop. He is a really bad defensive shortstop. Go get a shortstop and playing at second. Maybe Oswald Peraza is a fit for them. How close are we to the 21K subs? Come on, people, subscribe. I'm going to second this message. You should all subscribe. We are 37 subscribers away from 21,000. So if you could please press the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment, turn on the notification bell, that would be greatly appreciated. I'd be cool with Shedeur Sanders or Ward, but the Giants got to lose Sunday. I agree. They got to lose Sunday. And I think cool with is the best way for me to describe how I feel about the quarterback situation. So, I think that Shedeur Sanders is good. I think Shedeur Sanders is not good. I think Shedeur Sanders is like a good college quarterback, but I don't think he's a great college quarterback, and I don't think he's a great NFL prospect. And like a pretty good quarterback prospect is usually an average player. But I will say makeup is pretty good. Like the off-field stuff. Like I know it's like questionable, but I actually kind of like it. I like the confidence. He's also very marketable, which like I get that's why it's gonna like make him like again. Do I think that Shedeur Sanders is do I think Shedeur Sanders benefits from having a lot of publicity? Absolutely. Cam Ward, I like Cam Ward. I don't think Cam Ward's like the best quarterback prospect in the world. Like he's not like a superstar or whatever, but he's a good player. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Kyle McCord is solid. Like he's like a non-first round guy, and I don't love non-first round guys. Would you DFA? Yes, in a heartbeat. Would DFA him in a heartbeat? In a heartbeat. So yeah. Oh, what's up? We got Chef Nick here. Happy New Year, my friend. I think the Yankee farm is going to step up next season. More motivation for them. I just think they're going to be healthy, and that's going to help a lot. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. It's kind of where I'm at. Would you send in a package for Carlos Correa? Who would you send in a package for Carlos Correa? George Lombard Jr., because he's really good. I think he's a good prospect. You want to get a player like that involved in a deal. I think that, Will Warren, major league starter, probably. We'll see. I don't know. But at least he's controllable, and I think he has good upside. Trying to think of other prospects here that can entice them. If they like Spencer Jones, they throw him in. Yes, they throw in Lombard. I mean, it depends on how much money you're eating. So maybe let me hold off on Jones there. So Lombard, Warren, let's say Rice, and let's throw in Stroman and have the Twins not touch a single dime of Correa's money, so that the Twins are basically getting a 1 year starter for 1 year of Marcus Stroman, unless it's 2 years if he pitches over 140 innings, which will probably limit it if he's not very good. They offload quite a lot of money. They get prospects back. Rice can help them at first. Warren can help their rotation or bullpen depth. And Lombard Jr. is a really interesting prospect, a really fun one, a high upside player. Yeah, I think that makes sense, right? I don't know what you guys think. I don't know if the Twins would do that though. I don't know. I kind of throw a shit at the wall hoping it sticks. Screw Juan Soto. Do you agree? I don't hate Juan Soto. Is that a hot take? I don't really hate him. Like, I don't like holding. He took more money. Took more money. Like, what do you want me to do? I don't know what to. I don't. Took more money, right? That's where I'm at. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. Like, he took more money. I'm not really mad about that. I think that this isn't enough to get it done. I think Lombard's a clearly better prospect than Arraez, even though I like Arraez a lot. The data is pretty good there. And I also don't necessarily believe that, do I believe Oswaldo Cabrera is like a valuable trade chip here? Probably not, right? Like, he's solid, but like you're getting up to the point where he's going to be arbitration eligible next year. Is he going to get 10? Okay. If Oswaldo Cabrera was in ARB 2, he was second year ARB eligible, are you tendering him a contract? I think it's a fair question to ask. Are you tendering Oswaldo Cabrera a contract in year 1, 2, or 3? I'd say year 1. What about year 2? And what about year 3? Right? So that, you say like, oh, he's got 4 years to control this, and that, but you got to go like, okay, well, how many years do you want him to be making that money? That's where I think it's important. So yeah, I would say like ARB 2. Yeah, like it's probably where he gets cut unless he like has a legitimate leap where he's like a 95 WRC plus hitter or 100 WRC plus hitter with like good defense all over. Like, I don't know if he's an ARB 2 guy even. So if you're the Twins, you're taking on a guy you're going to cut in like a year. And if you're the Twins, I mean, the Twins are cheaper than the Yankees. They may cut him they may cut him the second he's arbitration eligible. So there's that. Do you think Grisham is a good enough to be a starter? In center field, yes. But I don't think the Yankees need him to start. And the fact that he only has to start if somebody gets hurt is pretty good. Yeah, that's basically it. He's cheap, and that's really it. I'd sign him through ARB 2 at a good rate, but what like you usually get raises, and ARB 1's probably gonna be $1 million, $1.5 million. ARB 2 is probably $3-4 million. I think that's the point where you start going, do you cut him? Right? Like that's kind of where it's at. And I'm not saying it's non-tender territory this year, nor am I saying it will be next year. I'm saying, I mean, it could be this year. If Oswaldo Cabrera puts up like a 70 WRC plus this year, he's getting non-tendered, right? He's getting non-tendered. He's a good guy, a really good guy. I love him. Great dude. I think that there is the chance still, the outside chance he starts figuring out how to pull the ball in the air again and hitting some home runs. But damn, man, like you're sending him to a cheap team like the Twins. Yeah, the guy might get cut after year 2. So, yeah, there's that. Correa is probably the best player available, even though he's not a left. Yeah, absolutely the best player available. And yeah, the contract's a little much, but best player available. Best player available for sure. Yeah. Do you think Clark Schmidt's ceiling is being an ace? I think it is. I think it's being like a top 20 pitcher. He's got the stuff to do it. He has the upside. He has to stay healthy, and he has to make sure that he's capable of doing it. He has to stay healthy, and he has to keep his command locked in. So, yeah, he's very, 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 very talented. That wouldn't be a problem if no, for sure. But like for the Twins' perspective, the point I'm not making is that the Yankees should be worried about whether he gets cut or not. What I'm trying to say is that the Twins would be like the Twins may not value him as we're getting 4 years of Oswaldo Cabrera. They may view it as like you get 1 year of pre-arbitration and then we'll figure it out from there. So that's why I think his value in a deal is limited for a team like the Twins. Clark was killing it till he got hurt. He was awesome. Yeah, he was sick and then he got hurt and that kind of hurt him a little bit. Pun not intended. Yeah, I'm very excited for a full year of Clark as well. Expect an article on him from yours truly at some point in the coming weeks. Yeah, I think I'm really excited for him. Is there a spot for Lombardo in the Yankees' future? Absolutely. If he's a really good prospect and he plays really well, he's gonna play. Who's the Yankees' second baseman right now? We don't even have a second baseman right now, so that's an infield spot open. Jazz the free agent after the 2026 season. If he's a free agent after the 2026 season, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't know if he's going back. You don't know if he's going to extend it. You don't know what he's going to look like. You don't know what things are going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen, right? So, third base is not in a position where you're like, yep, locked there for 5 years. Volpe, he's going to be ARB 2 eligible at the end of the 2026 season. Are the Yankees going to tender him? Like, is he going to be like by the time he's ARB 2 eligible? We're going to view Anthony Volpe as a shortstop that you have to keep for a very long time. Or we're going to say, let's start eyeing upgrades. When he's a free agent, let him go, kind of do what you got to do. That's where I'm at, right? Like, he's got to prove himself a little more. I think he's a good player, but like, you don't tie yourself to like 86 WRC plus defense guys. You tie yourself to like even if he's a 100 WRC plus hitter in 2025, he will be a very good player. He will end up like being a 4 to 5 WAR player. But there's 3 spots in the infield. It's not like the Yankees have locked in money at any of those spots. Technically speaking, the Yankees can cut every single player in their infield or have them walk in free agency by the time he's probably ready. So there is a spot in the infield for that. Definitely true, but you never know who teams value based on what they need. I agree, but I'm just saying I don't think Cabrera is very valuable here because I don't think he's very good, nor do I think he would be a Minnesota Twin for 4 years. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. Bailey Ober or Clark Schmidt? That's tough. Bailey Ober, I believe in Bailey Ober. Made some serious. I'm going to pull up his velo gains. He's got some upside. The guy's velo hasn't been great, but it's, solid enough because of his extension. Doesn't miss like a ton of bats. Like, he's not striking out 40% of batters faced, but he's striking out so many batters faced and not walking a lot of batters, which results in a 20 back-to-back years with a K to walk rate of 20% or higher. I think if they both have 170 innings pitched, now if you just go extrapolate last year's numbers over full season, I'm pretty sure Clark Schmidt hasn't beat. But I do think it's safe to say, I think it's important to note that Bailey Ober's made 31 starts with good numbers. That's got to matter for something. So I'm going to lean towards Schmidt, not 100% confident. But Bailey Ober is a very good pitcher and the Twins should extend the guy. The Twins should extend him. That's what they should do because I believe he's a free agent. He's got 3 years left to control. So they should start looking into locking this man up. Over under 56 home runs for Judge. I'm going to say under, he'll hit 52. Gunnar, Volpe reach free agency the same year. If the Orioles don't extend Gunnar, he's going to leave. I'm going to tell you this right now. He's going to get like $600 million. He's so freaking good. And he's a shortstop. What was Cashman thinking giving DJ Lee a contract? It was obviously with age like milk. Everyone wanted him back. So I'm not really sure a lot of people can make that hindsight play. We'll see. I don't know. Michael Massey for the infield. I like Michael Massey. I've talked about Michael Massey. He would have hit like 25 home runs if he played. So Michael, let's do some math here, folks. Some rudimentary math. This is not perfect math. We're just going to do some basic math here. Like surface level stuff. Michael Massey would have hit 20 home runs if he played all of his games at Yankee Stadium. He played 109 games last year, or took 356 plate appearances. If you divide 356 plate appearances, if you divide 20 by 356, and you multiply it by 600, he would have been on pace for 33.7 home runs over 600 plate appearances. Right? Like, I know he's not an OBP guy, but I kind of don't care if you can hit 20 to 25 home runs. I don't care. 270 average, 26 dingers for the Martian. I would love this. He'd be like a star player if he does this. This would be awesome for the Yankees. DJ apparently wanted $90 million, and they stretched out the years for AAV reasons. Yeah, I mean, he's. Do I think the Yankees should keep doing that? I'm not particularly sure, but I get why they did it. It didn't work out the way they wanted it to, is what it is. It just because DJ, just because Jazz moving to second doesn't mean that he's moving to third. LeMahieu's going to play third. That's where I'm at. If Detroit signed if Bregman gets signed by Detroit, what are the chances that they trade Young? Followed up, would Cashman give up what it takes to get it done? I'm curious to see if Jace Jung would even be available. Again, like there's nothing wrong with having depth. I don't know if you view do you view Jace Jung as like bad enough where you're gonna give up immediately, or like the kind of player is gonna yield you an insane like sum of prospects? I think it's also important to note here, Jeremy. Guys get hurt. If Bregman gets hurt, Young is right there. If Keith gets hurt, Bregman's right there. If Torres isn't very good, I mean, Young is right there. Young is someone who provides them depth. I'm not 100% certain they're going to just go, all right, throw him away. Don't need you, buddy. Don't need you. You suck. Yeah, I think that they would like want something really back for him, and I get why the Yankees wouldn't like trade an insane amount of talent to get him. I don't think they'd like offer like, hey, I need Jason Dominguez. You got it. Like that's kind of where I'm at. Let's see. If you had to pick from the current Yankees, who would be Core 4 2.0? Aaron Judge would be an obvious pick. I don't think anyone else can get that title yet. I think Dominguez is possible. Volpe, it's possible. Heel, it's possible. But they need to prove themselves. So, yeah, I think the Yankees get one more closer, and I hope Bregman. That's it. I don't think they're getting Bregman. So yeah, I don't think I would do Jones and Hess for Jace Jung. Absolute worst case scenario, if they don't get another infielder, I feel like they would have to put Peraza out there. Just curious if he projects better up the middle or as a corner infielder. He's got a really good arm. Probably plays better at third. Jazz has better range, so that's how I'd set that up. Jeff McNeil, better than nothing, right? He's firmly in the better than nothing category. Do the Yankees have the best rotation in the American League? Very good question. Very good question. I think that they have I think it's arguable. Now, I think that the Mariners, you have to put them as number one. They have just so much pitching talent. The Red Sox are in that conversation. The Yankees are in that conversation. Trying to think. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. I'm just trying to think right now off the top of my head, like guys who I would put in that bucket as well. Or teams, excuse me, that I'd put in that bucket as well. Guardians, I wouldn't put in that bucket. They don't really have that. The Rays could have like a dark horse argument. They have some interesting, they do some things pretty well. So, you always I think you always have to be interested in how that work or how they're going to, how their outlook will be for the 2025 season. They always kind of find ways to get pitching production, and you look at their projections pitching wise. Let's look at depth chart here. We're going to go share this tab instead. I'm going to try to zoom out a little bit so we can get. So look at the American League. Rangers project very well. That's because, if they get a healthy DeGrom, and this projects 152 innings from DeGrom, they're going to have a very good rotation. Do I think they'll get 152 innings out of DeGrom? No, but it's not out of the picture. Like guys kind of go from injury prone to healthy randomly. You have the Twins, Joe Ryan, Bailey Ober, Pablo Lopez, the very good top three. You have the Yankees. They're right behind 14.4, 14.9, 14.9. Actually, the Mariners aren't even here in terms of WAR. Oh, they're 13.6. So the teams that are kind of all within that group, and the Royals as well have a good rotation. I'd say my cutoff point, like when it comes to wins of a replacement, the margin of error is about one WAR. The Yankees are within one WAR of the Rangers rotation, the Red Sox rotation, the Twins rotation, and so there's a projected WAR. So I basically look at that and say, okay, the Yankees are they have all the same rotation in terms of rotation quality. Granted, F4 measures FIP. So if you sort this by FIP, Yankees aren't that high in terms of FIP. The Yankees are projected to have a pretty meh FIP. For their ERA, projected to have a pretty strong ERA, right? Why does that matter? And why do the Yankees project to have a not great FIP? Well, part of that is that the Yankees have guys who walk a lot of people like Heel or Schmidt. They also believe Heel and Schmidt will allow a lot of home runs, and they also still think Garrett Cole is going to be a home run machine. I don't buy into the Garrett Cole is going to give up a lot of home runs thing. I think that they oversell how many home runs the Yankees will allow in 2025, like 1.2 home runs per nine for their starting five. I doubt that. I really, really seriously doubt that these starters are going to match up to do that. I know that home runs per 9 are hard to project because it can be very noisy. But if we look at Yankees starting pitching this past season, they had a 1.2 home runs per 9 with, with Stroman pitching and not Fried. They added Max Fried. They didn't lose a starting pitcher. I guess they lost Nestor Cortez, but he also had some home run issues. I think Max Fried improves that mark for them. So, I could be wrong, but I think that the Yankees rotation will be better than projections. Like, I think it'll be better than their projected FIP, which is technically accounted for. They do think their ERA is going to be really good. I think the Yankees have a good rotation. I don't think it's a dominant rotation. I don't think it's I'm dominant relative to all-time rotations. We're not talking about Smoltz, Gavin, Glavin, that kind of thing. I'm not going to go historically dominant, blah, blah, blah. I do think they'll be very good, though. I think they'll be very good. They'll be very good relative to their league. So I don't think there's any historically dominant rotation I'm eyeing here. Maybe the Phillies have a chance because if Luzardo's healthy, they've got dudes. But yeah. I think that his sinker not being good is more of a product of command. I think he can do things to kind of improve his sinker efficiency and production. I think he also started moving away from it towards the end of the season. I thought that was a good move. I think, he should start mixing in his stuff a little bit more. So yeah. Willie Castro is probably a third base target. Ha-Seong Kim is still there. So yeah, I do hate the idea of starting Peraza at third. I'm not going to lie, guys. I want a proven player. Brandon Lau, we did a video on Brandon Lau, and then I think it came out hours later that this is kind of bullshit. Not bullshit is not true, but bullshit in the sense of God damn it, apparently, according to Ken Rosenthal, the Rays aren't shopping Diaz or Lowe. They're not gonna just move him to move him. So yeah. With that being said, I hope the Yankees get him if possible. And then I don't think Eugenio Suarez gets moved. If he does, would love it. Yeah, so I don't know. But if one of these three players became a Yankee, with one of these many players become a Yankee, I'd be pretty happy with the outcome. With that being said, what do you guys, I'm going to wrap things up soon. What are your last questions? If you guys have any final questions, please send them in now. I'd love to answer all of them. So, yeah. Thoughts on Vierling? Matt Vierling, I think he's a good player. I think he'd really help. So, yeah. Well, Yankees have to pay the piper for Lowe. Yeah, they'd have to. I mean, I think the Rays would ask for a lot, and they should. He's a cost-controlled, good player. So, yeah. Who do you think? What do you think should be the order of the lineup? Given the current roster, Jazz, Judge, Bellinger, Stanton, Wells, Goldschmidt, Dominguez, Volpe, Cabrera. Yeah, that makes sense. I would love to go to Yankee Stadium. I'm going to go to Yankee Stadium at least once this year. At the very, 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 very least. So, yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Any more questions? If not, I'm gonna start wrapping things up. I don't know if this is just sometimes it doesn't load questions, so say anything and just I'm gonna give it a couple minutes. Want to wrap things up soon though, because we're over the hour mark. Want to eat some dinner and get some stuff working for 2025 for tomorrow. I think Jazz would be a solid leadoff. He needs to shorten swing. No, I disagree. I think his swing I think he did good things with the Yankees. I'm very excited for what a 2025 season will look at. If he's doing what he did this past year for that. So, yeah. Would you rather Chafin or Hill for the bullpen? Oh, that's a good question. Tim Hill, maybe? I don't know. This is tough. This is why it's tough. Chafin strikes out a lot of guys. I think the Yankees would make Chafin a better pitcher. I think the sinker's a problem. Yankees can improve that. But the last thing, but also Tim Hill, like we know what Tim Hill is. Rock solid guy. Gonna go with Tim Hill though. Marginally. Lean Tim Hill. Lean, not firm, lean. Will we be better with running scoring position this year? Now let me point something out about the Yankees in the regular season. Again, regular season. Don't crucify me yet. Don't crucify me yet. Okay. In the regular season, okay. Team batting stats. Let's look at with the Yankees were pretty good for running scoring position from what I remember. Could be wrong. Okay. In 2024, the Yankees had a 124 WRC plus running scoring position. That was the third highest mark in baseball. 809 OPS, 465 slug, 343 OBP, 261 average. Top 10 in all the slash line stats. Really good OPS. Like the Yankees were really good with running scoring position. In terms of strikeout rate, really good. Walk rate, really good. The Yankees were very good running scoring position last year. In the regular season. Now in the postseason, a lot worse. Yankees were very bad running scoring position. That's like not it's not something I have to explain to you guys particularly. The Yankees had pull this up now. Postseason, runners position. Runners scoring position. I'm gonna share this tab instead. Yankees with runners scoring position in the postseason. WOBA, batting average. I want all this good stuff. Let's get xWOBA in here as well. Let's get strikeout rate and walk rate, and let's go barrel percentage. All right, with runners in score position though, the Yankees in the 2024 postseason. Holy smokes, they were bad. They hit 188. They hit 188 runners scoring position. They were really bad in those situations. Granted, their xWOBA very good. They hit a lot of balls hard and all that stuff, but they didn't really even strike out a lot in those situations. They were not like swinging and missing a ton. They just didn't get hits across. Like they just ran in some really poor luck, I thought. But again, like luck isn't like I'm not leaning on the whole luck argument. But you know there's that. So that page crashed immediately. So we're just gonna go back to this random tab. I hope Dominguez does earn it too. If there's one former Yankee you could add to this team, who would it be and why? Alex Rodriguez, because he plays third base. Alex Rodriguez, the Yankees had Alex Rodriguez, they'd win the World Series. That's a fact. That's a fact. If they had Alex Rodriguez, yeah, they'd win the World Series, man. They'd go. I don't give a shit who leads off. Hope that we talked about that. I think they should go best player available. Doesn't matter lefty or righty. Do you see Fangraphs projections for Holmes? 3.52 ERA, 3.69 FIP, 8.42 K per nine. I think it's optimistic, but I think there are projections that are optimistic for players in the Yankees too. So you can go either way, right? We could talk about optimistic and pessimistic projections for virtually every. I don't know if my thing just crashed. I can't seem to click. Oh, StatCast is going to kill my stream, I think. Sorry, I'm going to X out of this StatCast tab. I got to kill it before it kills me in this stream. So basically, Fangraphs is going to have some optimistic disagree with. So, yeah. No, I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate you guys I don't know why I'm hearing myself talk. Sorry, this is being really buggy right now. We're gonna close as many tabs as we can so I can finish the stream strong. Yeah, I hear myself talking on the YouTube. Anywho, I think that having Austin, I see the idea of having Austin Wells lead off. I don't think the Yankees would have a catcher lead off. Got some weird stuff going on there, and I talked about this with a buddy of mine, and he pointed this out to me. It makes a lot of sense. I'm not particularly sure that it makes sense to lead off a catcher because leading off a catcher requires you to, have the guy basically come out the dugout immediately after catching. That catchers can lead off in some innings. That can happen. And when you clean up, that actually can happen as well. But with the leadoff spot, you virtually guarantee that they're going to have games where they lead off. That they don't have time to breathe between innings. These are, catchers are subject to injury a lot more than other position player groups. So There's that. I just deep fried my stream a little bit. But anywho, before my computer explodes, I want to thank you guys for showing up and showing out, showing us love on FSY. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on the notification bell. If you're old to this channel or you've been for a while, still like and comment and turn on that notification bell. I want to thank you all again for stopping by. We love you all dearly. Hope you have a great rest of your night, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Let's go Yankees. Peace out.